So we're on Kuf Mem He Amud Aleph, 145a1, and the Gemara says Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah. Okay, so the Gemara is 2-4, right? 4 lines down. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah. Rabbi Yirmiyah says, Kitanai, it's a machloket tanaim, hamachlik ba'anavim. If somebody's going to come and he's going to put the anavim on top of his breads, so he's going to take grape, right? He's going to come and he's going to start squeezing it on top of the breads. Lo uchshar, it does not become muchshar to be mekabel tumah, which means anavim. To be mekabel tumah. Rabbi Yehuda says it doesn't become susceptible for tumah. Remember, for something to become susceptible for tumah, you need one of the 7 liquids, yad shachat dam, one of these 7 liquids to come and to go and to have contact with the food, and then it becomes susceptible for tumah. So, Maila Baka Mipagez, not that they're arguing, the more savar mashke balech ochel, and one of them holds that when you have a mashke, which comes to ochel, right, which means a liquid that comes to ochel is considered ochel, and the other one says it's not considered ochel, then it's basically it's a machloket. When you have a liquid coming into food, is that considered food or not? So Rav Papa says, according to everybody, right, he says a food that comes into into a liquid that comes into food is not considered a food. But here, the liquid is going to waste. More savar is considered, one of them holds that even though it's going to waste, it's considered liquid. More savar, it's not considered liquid because it's going to waste. It's a machlok with this Tanaim as well, with this group of rabbis. The Tanaim was learned in a Braita. Hamfatzea bezetim. If somebody's going to come and start hitting zetim in order to soften them out, yadayim esovot, with hands which are impure, ukshar, it becomes tameh. Okay? Lesoftan, to dip them, b'melach, lo ukshar, it does not become, right, machshir. Leidayim higia zeitav lemasok, if it's in order to know whether the olives come to its fit time, nimsokim lav, to whether you want to pick them or not, lo ukshar, does not become, you only did it just to see, is it ripe enough to pick them? It does become, right, the liquids does become mitameh. We're not arguing on this. Savar, the one of them holds, which is Rabbi Yehuda, the mashke al-melegu, that if it goes to libud, it's considered a mashke. And according to Tanakama, if it's going to libud, if it's going to waste, it's not considered a liquid. So Rabbi Yeshua says, Rabbi Yeshua, hani tanai, the mashke al-melegu, they're arguing in mashke which goes to waste. V'hanach tanai, they're going in the machloket whether the last bits of that it's litzachzecho, which is that considered liquid or not. So Amar Rabbi Zera says Rabbi Zera in the name of Rechiya Barashi in the name of Rav. So Chedad Hamashkol Shanavim Tokera, lo Tokera, by V'dag Letziro Afilu Tokera. However, the fish you could squeeze it out even into a kiara. So Yati Rav Dimi V'kamal Shmaita. Rav Dimi was sitting and he said the Shmaita. So Amar Rav Dimi, he says about Rav Dimi, Atom Shmeder Rav Matzitu. You guys were saying in the name of Rav and you didn't have the question. But we were saying in the name of Shmuel, we had the question. Miyamar Shmuel, the Shmuel say Daglet Siro, that fish you're allowed to squeeze into an empty plate. Afilu Tokera, when it was stated. Kvashim Shesachtan, if you take pickled objects and you squeeze them, says Rav, Legufan, if it's for them to take away that it has too much excess, liquid, it's permitted. If you're doing it for the liquid, so it's going to be patur, valasur. Ushrakot, but if you cooked vegetables and you do excessive cooking, ben legufam, ben lememehen, it's always going to be permitted. Okay? Shmuel says, no. Echad kvashim, echad shrakot, doesn't matter whether it's pickled or it was excessively cooked. Legufan mutar, lememehen, patur valasur. So you see from here that it comes out that when you're squeezing out the fish, right, why would it be permitted according to Shmuel? Here it says patur valasur. Right? If you're squeezing it out for the liquid, it's patur v'lasur. So Amalei, he answers him, Elokim enai ra'u velozar. So he's saying like it's a shavua, which means I actually received it so clear. I heard of Rabbi Yirmiyah, and Rabbi Yirmiyah accepted it from Rav Zera. Rav Zera accepted it from Rav, which means that I actually have it that it was from Rav, it wasn't from Shmuel. I have a strong masorah that this learning came from Rav and not Shmuel, and that's why I have no questions. So Gufa, we're going to try to understand this. Kvashim shesachtan, if you took pickled, for example, sometimes they do it with pickles. You have too much juice in the pickles, so you squeeze it out. Are you squeezing it out because of the excess of the juice? Or are you squeezing it out because you want to drink the pickle juice or you want to use it for something? Right? So it says, Kvashim shesachtan, amar Rav legufan mutar, lememen patur, aval asur, ushlakot, but excessive cooking, It's going to be mutar. Shmuel says, no, it's legufan is always going to be mutar. Memen is patur v'asur. Rabbi Yochanan says, the third shita, echad kvashim v'echad shlakot, legufan is going to be mutar. The memehen chayav chatat. It's going to be the memehen, it's going to be chayav chatat. Okay? So he comes and he says as follows. He says, Meitvei, so we're going to ask the following question. Sochtin kvashim letzorach Shabbat, aval lo lemotzei Shabbat. You're allowed to come and you're allowed to squeeze kvashim for Shabbat, but not for, right, motzei Shabbat. The zeitim vanavim lo yischot. The zeitim vanavim you're not allowed to squeeze. But if you did squeeze it, chayav chatat, you're going to be chayav chatat. So kasha lelerav, kasha l'shulchan. Here's the question against everything. Everybody, why? Because here we just said that you're allowed to be sochtin kvashim Shabbat for Shabbat, but not for motzei Shabbat. Then it says zeitim vanavim you're not allowed to squeeze it all. But if you did, you're chayav chatat. So now, obviously, this is going to be a question on everyone because nobody permitted to do it lechatchila, and here it's mashma lechatchila, you're allowed to do it. Okay? So it says the Gemara, each one is going to answer according to the reasoning. Rav metaretz tameh, Shmuel metaretz tameh, Rav Yochanan metaretz tameh. Each one is going to answer according to his reasoning. Rav metaretz tameh, Rav is going to answer according to his reasoning. Sochtim kvashim b'Shabbat letzorach Shabbat, you're allowed to squeeze kvashim, right? Pickled foods for Shabbat. Right, avalon motzei Shabbat, but not for motzei Shabbat. But one of these words is gufan, only if you wanted to squeeze it for itself, but not for the liquid. Because if you do it for the liquid, it's patur v'asur. Ushlakot, if it was excessive cooking on a fruit or a vegetable, ben legufam elamamen, it's mutar lechatchila. Zeitim vanavim, you're not allowed to, which is grapes and olives, you're not allowed to squeeze it all. And if you did, you're chayav chatat. Shmuel metaretz tameh. Shmuel is going to answer according to his reasoning. So think kvashim bet Shabbat letzorach Shabbat, you're allowed to squeeze Kvashim on Shabbat letzorach Shabbat. The huadin shlakot, the same lacha would apply to shlakot. But medvi, one of these words, egufan, for what you need them for the body. But for the liquids, it's going to be patur basur. Zeitim anavim lo yischol, you're not to squeeze them. If you did, you're going to be chayav chatat. So the latter part is the same for everybody. That zeitim anavim, it's always going to be asur. Okay, and if you did it, it's chayav chatat. Rabbi Yochanan metaretz tameh. Rabbi Yochanan is going to be metaretz tameh. Sochtim kvashim letzorach Shabbat, aval lo motzei Shabbat. You're allowed to do it for Shabbat, but not for motzei Shabbat. Right? Echad kvashim, echad shekot, doesn't matter. It's all the same halachot. And according to Rabbi Yochanan, there's no difference in pickled objects or things which are excessive cooking. But these words like fun for themselves. But if you're doing it for the liquid, you shouldn't do it. But if you did do it, it's like you're doing nasas zochet zetim vanavim. It's going to be chayav chatat. Okay, so that's how each one answers it up. So Amar Chia Barashi Marav Dvar Torah Midoraita. You're not going to be chayav only on these zetim vanavim b'vad. Right? V'chen Tanad v'minashe Torah Dvar Torah no chayav el Torah. That means mina Torah. It's only zetim vanavim, olives and olives and grapes that you're going to be chayav mina Torah. There's not going to be one ed from another ed kosher, which means when you have testimony is only going to be kosher if it's one after another, meaning that it's not from one witness to another witness. It has to be direct testimony. You cannot have one witness to another witness. Right? And we're going to go into the Mishnah. So it says over here, Ela ledut isha bilvad, only to do with edut isha. So yibai lehu. So we're going to ask the following question. Remember, edut isha means is that we're going to testify that the husband died. So in order to, because if not, then she stays stranded like an aguna for the rest of her life. So only for her, we were going to be lenient that ed mi pe'ed, one witness coming from another witness, would be permitted. So we ask the following question, ed mi pe'ed le'edut bechor. What about for edut bechor? To say whether a bechor animal has a mum or not, a blemish or not. Do we accept it or not? Ravami says it's a sur, and Ravasi says it's going to be permitted. Amar Ravasi says Ravami to Ravasi, right, is only going to be kasher for edut isha. So it says only that an edut that a woman is kosher for. A woman could only testify for another woman that her husband died, or for a bechor that has a blemish. So remember Yemar Shari Bukhra. So he called him Yemar, the one that permits the bechorot. But it's going to be, the halacha is that it is going to be kosher. And mipiyed is going to be kosher for bechor. Okay, next, 2 dots. Chalot dvash. Kiyata Rav Hoshia minar down. Rav Hoshia minar da came. He said, he had a beraita. Tzitim anu mishus kamen Shabbat. If you squeeze them out of Shabbat, yatsu me'atzman, and then they came out also on Shabbat. It's going to be surim. Relazar Rav Shimon, they say it's going to be mutar. Mutarin. Amar Rav Yosef says of Yosef, Gavra yitera to l'shminan. What Rav Hoshia is coming to tell you that there's somebody else with him as well. There's Rav Shimon and Rabbi Lazar. What does that mean? So Amalei Abaye says, he's coming to teach you. If it was from our Mishnah, Havamina is coming to teach you. Other Havamina is Hatamud, right? Why? Because at the beginning it was food, and then it was food. Which means Zvash at the beginning was food. And afterwards it was also becoming a food. But over here by Zitim, that you crush them, you crush the grapes and olives. At the beginning it was food, and then at the end it became a liquid. I would say that you're not permitted. Kamash Malan comes to teach you, but that's what Rav Oshi has come to teach you the Braita. And according to Bezar Shimon, they're going to be permitting it even from Zitim and Avim that were already squeezed. And we continue Bezrat Hashem tomorrow from the Mishnah on Kuf Mem Hamud Beh.